Hey there. Clara, right?
Right, and you're James. Nice to meet you.
Thanks. You know, I was going to suggest that we hike for our first date, but I'm glad I decided that we will take a boat ride here at the park instead.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Well, you're a little out of shape, and you'll probably quit before we get to the halfway point. Oh, don't get me wrong. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It just doesn't look like you can handle it, and I think I can live with that.
First of all, I work out 5 times a week for 2 hours, and I went on a hike with my best friend last month. So, I think you're judging me too soon.
If you say so.
What you just witnessed was a technique that inferior men use on women called negging. In short, negging is rooted in manipulation, often used by men who feel insecure or lack genuine confidence. The goal is to throw a woman off balance by targeting her self-esteem with backhanded compliments or subtle insults. For example, a man might say, "You're pretty cute for someone who doesn't try too hard," implying you're not that attractive. This tactic exploits a woman's desire for acceptance, making her feel she needs to win the man's approval. Negging can be blatant or subtle, but it always aims to create doubt and insecurity in women. Let's look at some signs and examples of negging. To spot negging, pay attention to how a comment by a man makes you feel. Does it leave you second-guessing yourself or craving for his approval? Here are some examples. Backhanded compliments.
You're smarter than you look.
Subtle put-downs.
Are you sure you want to wear that dress? It's very bold, and some women don't have the body to pull it off.
Comparisons.
You're not like most girls. They usually care about their appearance in public.
Dismissive tone, where he brushes off your accomplishments with a smirk or,
"Yeah, it's cute."
Negging often feels like a jab disguised as charm and is meant to make you question your worth. What to do when you encounter negging. When a man negs you, you don't owe him your time or energy. Here's how to handle it. Don't engage. Negging thrives on your reaction. Stay calm and don't try to prove yourself. Call it out confidently. You can say, "That sounded like an insult. Care to explain?" This flips the script and puts him on the spot. Set boundaries. If he persists, walk away or say, "I don't appreciate comments like that." And finally, trust your worth. Remind yourself that negging reflects his insecurity, not your value. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, not tear you down. Here's some powerful women that I found on TikTok who will not only teach you what type of men use the negging technique, but how to retain your power while checking them with style and grace.
So negging is like backhanded compliments that are essentially aimed at getting you to feel bad about yourself, but also while making it seem like they're kind of like being sweet or nice. A good example is them saying like, "Hey, you would look so good, but if you lost like a little bit of weight, you would look even better in that dress." An example for me was, you look good with brown hair, but you look like a bombshell with blonde hair.
Girl, that hat is not fooling me. I can see that you have blonde hair underneath the hat. These women, oh my God. But anyway, the message she said was spot on. It's just that the messenger is a little bit questionable.
So I see a lot of people on TikTok talking about negging, and I never really knew what negging was. I didn't even know it was a word. I know the actions, but I didn't know it was a word for negging. But it made me think about a couple of the negging experiences that I've had, like, throughout my life. So, of course, I've been plus size, like, all of my life, and there's been many times where I get approached by men and they're always like, "Oh, you're so pretty," or, you know, you're so pretty to be a big girl," and things like that. So stuff like that I've always like ran into. However, it was one time recently, and I'm talking about recently, this guy told me, he was like, oh my God, you're so pretty. I mean, I know you'll really be fine if you just hit the gym a little bit and just go start going in the gym. Like, damn. Like, I know how I could lose weight. I didn't need your help to tell me how. But the fact that you gave me a backhanded compliment like that, which, I mean, some people are very tone deaf to certain things that they say. But at the same time, it's like, what type of is that? It's like, oh, if you just start hitting the gym, I know you'll be fine. You already fine, but you will really be fine. What? Like, some of y'all dudes be having the audacity, and I'd rather you just not say anything to me at all. I'd rather you say I was ugly than to be like, oh, you fine, but if you do this, you'll be even finer. Don't do that. I know what I need to do. You don't gotta tell me. Like, shit blew the out of me. And like, he was fine too, so they kind of like made me be like, damn, dude, like, for real. Y'all dudes be having the audacity for real.
Okay, literally, why are men like this? I just got back from a date, and on the date, we had like a really nice time. We had a glass of wine at a bar nearby, and it was good. Vibes were high. And then he mentioned on the date that he was feeling sick, so sick that he almost didn't come, and specifically that his stomach was upset and he was like puking. And so I immediately was like, okay, well, that's like, I'm gonna get out of here soon. I don't want to get sick. I have a flight tomorrow. Last thing I want to do is be throwing up on a plane. So we have a glass of wine, and then he asked, like, do you want to walk around before we go? I was like, yeah, that's okay. So we start walking by the river, and he immediately tries to kiss me, and I pull away, and I'm like, you're sick. I'm not into that right now. And he's like, oh, but I'm not sick like that. And I'm like what? Sick like what? And he's like, well, you know, like that. And I'm like, I don't. Like what? Like, what do you mean? He's like, well, just not like that. Like it's like I could hold something down before I came today. And I'm like, yeah, but like, you like almost didn't come. Like, you sound pretty sick still. So like, I don't want to get sick. I'm flying tomorrow. And he's like, well, what if I just kiss your neck? And I was like, no. And then he tried to he touched my neck, and he's like, what if I just kissed right here? And he like put his face forward, and I took a step back, and I was like, no, definitely not. And then he grabbed, I was wearing like a turtleneck, and he grabbed my turtleneck and like pulled it, and then like moved his head in and tried to kiss me, my neck. And I like took another step back, and I was like, I said no, what are you doing? And then he looked at me and like with this like angry, confused face, didn't say a word. We started walking. It was silent for literally, I'm not kidding, 3 minutes. And like, I'm gonna say something first. Like, I'm not ashamed or embarrassed. Like, he's doing something wrong, so I'm not gonna break the tension. I don't care how awkward it is. And so it's silent for 3 minutes, literally. And then he starts to walk slower and walk behind me, and I just keep my pace because I'm like, whatever, you're like throwing a hissy fit, and I don't have any patience for this. Like, I'm walking home. Like, we're on the way back, basically. In my mind, I'm walking back to my apartment. And so we keep walking, and then he starts walking faster than me all of a sudden, and he's walking maybe 5 or 6 feet in front of me, like full-blown child having like a hissy fit, and having like, he's like having a little, I don't know, like little like tantrum. And so he starts walking 5 or 6 feet in front of me, and immediately I'm just like, okay, well, like, where's the next block? So the next block that comes up, I just turn left, and I just walk away. And he doesn't even notice, I don't think. I don't know. I didn't turn back around. Like, I never looked back. I just like literally turned on the block and walked home. Like, we were almost at my apartment. So I was like, bye.
I don't know if you've heard of negging as a...
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a term that gets passed around in these kind of sleazy pickup artist type communities.
No.
Where they will encourage you to be mean to a woman so she thinks that she can't do better than you, right? So when you're, instead of flirting the conventional way, flirting by putting them down, so that way they think they can't do better and they settle for you. Yeah. Right? Super toxic.
Mm-hmm. Very toxic.
And I think that awareness of this, I'm not going to say fact, but awareness of these theoretical structure can be very helpful to people on the dating scene.
Yeah.
Because if you consciously are aware of this strategy, well, then when your partner is mean to you, instead of taking it as a signal of like, oh, I can't do better, it would be much better to take that as a signal of, oh, I definitely can do better.
Here's like one sign that I've learned from dating, that if a guy does this, it means they are going to be a manipulative, terrible, abusive partner, most likely. And it's called negging. Essentially, negging is when a guy leads with an insult or insults something like important to you or just something about you in general to make you feel insecure and seek their approval. It can be in really subtle ways or really direct ways. Like one time at a club, like I was out and a guy was like, "You really think you look good in that dress?" But then proceeded to keep like talking to me. But here's the most triggering one that's been happening recently to me. And it was so subtle, I didn't even notice it. But 3 guys have told me after I told them I got into law school, they were like, "Well, being a lawyer isn't cool unless you go to Harvard anyways." One of them was like, "It doesn't count if you're a lawyer if you didn't go to Harvard." While they fully don't even have good jobs or anything, or barely had a degree. Like some of these guys we graduated with at the same time. Imagine being so insecure about your own job and place in society that you insult someone passionate about the career path they're going into, or who dedicated a year into like getting into law school, and saying it's not a big accomplishment. That's just not nice. It's manipulative to downsize something of that big of a sacrifice to someone. And if someone's becoming a lawyer, it's probably really important to them, and that is signaled to everyone else in society. So that's just them trying to make you feel bad about your own life decisions. They'll usually sandwich the insult with a compliment afterwards, but just like pay so close attention to that, because a lot more guys than you think do this.
Ladies, whatever you do, stay away from men that say and do things like this on a first date.
I was on a first date with a guy who brought up at least 6 or 7 times how he was no longer centering physical beauty in his search for a partner, because in the past, he's tried to find the hottest girl that he could. He's pursued the most beautiful woman that he could pursue, but that hasn't meant there was an emotional connection or a mental connection, which is what he ultimately wants.
Whether or not this is true, there was no reason for him to say this to her. But I feel like men who do stuff like this, they want you to feel lucky that they chose you, lucky that they gave you a chance. These are the kind of men that say to you right up front, "I don't usually date plus size women. I don't usually date dark skinned women. I don't usually date brunettes, or I don't usually date single moms." They're telling you that for a reason. It's all designed to make you feel like you're less than, and to make you feel lucky that someone like him would change or even alter his rule and allow you in. This is classic negging. The kind of men that make fun of you on a first date, they make fun of your name, they make fun of your accent, they make fun of where you're from, they make fun of your job. The kind of men that you're like, "You don't even know me. Why am I the butt of all your jokes?" It is on purpose. They want you to feel like, just despite you having a weird name, despite you having a weird accent, despite you being bigger than I usually go for, I'll give you a chance. No, thank you. Pass on men like this.
I was on a first date with a guy who brought up at least 6 or 7 times how he was...
Oh, he was absolutely negging you. Let me tell you about it. Negging is an emotional manipulation tactic used to basically backhand compliment you, make innocuous statements, sometimes subtle, sometimes not subtle, and they do it so at the end of the day, you want their approval. People always tell on themselves. So this creator during this date, someone said 6 or 7 times that they're not trying to center beauty anymore, which is queuing up to this girl, well, if you're not centering beauty anymore, you don't find me attractive. The things people bring up over and over and over again to tell me 7 times that you are not centering beauty anymore in your dating life and you're on a date with me. And yes, you are playing perfectly into the role by saying to yourself, "Oh, well, maybe I'm just being insecure and thinking that and deducing that." No, you're not. And I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. You will not feel that way around secure people. If someone is making you doubt yourself over and over and over again, you're not hanging out with a secure person. And I think it's going to take some of you guys hanging out with happy and secure people to realize what the normal is. Because normal people are not criticizing you. Even if you are deeply, deeply flawed, the people you love closest around you are not sharing what they hate most about you. It actually just doesn't come up. Negging is deeply embedded in incel culture. The pickup artist coined this term. Someone in my life negged me for 1.5 years and admitted to every cent of it. So I am super familiar with the ins and outs of it. Why, you ask? They said that they wanted to make me so insecure that by the end of it, I would want to date them. So here are my tips. If you think you're being negged, you probably are. And number 2, look these people in their eyes as you double down on their insult. They aren't prioritizing looks. Say to their face, "Well, then you must really not want to date me because I'm good looking." Look in their eyes for their response. If they seem triggered, run away.
This guy said I wasn't beautiful, like, to my face in person, right? And so I said, I don't care what a gay man thinks about my beauty. Didn't go over well. Okay, it was a huge issue. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, I was just joking. I was clearly just joking. And I said, okay, I was just joking too. If you can tell jokes that aren't funny, why can't I?
And there you have it, taters. Okay, that last one is my favorite. I love that. I love that. I suggest some of you all use that for the next guy who thinks he's going to neg you and get away with that. But anyway, I would love for you to share your experience if you've ever been through this before. And also, if you have any questions, by all means, please leave it below the video. I'll be sure to answer every question that I see in the comments section. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching my video. Be sure to leave a like. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one. Later, taters.